A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant legal development, a federal appeals court has ruled in favor of the Trump administration, allowing the deployment of Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. This decision comes as the nation grapples with heightened tensions surrounding immigration enforcement and civil unrest. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit issued a 2-1 ruling on Monday, effectively lifting a lower court's order that had previously blocked the deployment of the National Guard. The ruling signifies a potential shift in how federal and state powers interact, especially in matters of public safety and law enforcement. The majority opinion, penned by Judges Ryan Nelson and Bridget Bade, both appointed by President Trump, stated that the administration is likely to succeed in its appeal. They emphasized that the president acted within his rights under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, which allows for the federalization of National Guard troops when necessary to enforce federal laws. The judges criticized the lower court for overstepping its bounds, suggesting that it failed to show the proper deference to the president's authority. This ruling directly responds to the ongoing protests in Portland, which have seen a mix of peaceful demonstrations and violent clashes, particularly around federal immigration facilities. The Trump administration has characterized Portland as being under siege, claiming that local law enforcement is unable to manage the unrest effectively. The decision to deploy the National Guard is seen as part of a broader strategy by President Trump to assert federal authority in cities experiencing civil unrest, particularly those with Democratic leadership. Earlier this month, Judge Karen Immergut, also a Trump appointee, had issued a temporary restraining order, TRO, that blocked the deployment of Oregon National Guard troops, citing concerns that the president's justification for the deployment could lead to a constitutional crisis. However, the Ninth Circuit's ruling overturned this order, allowing the administration to proceed with its plans. The court's decision has sparked a heated debate among local officials and citizens. Oregon's Democratic Attorney General Dan Rayfield and the city of Portland have argued that the president's portrayal of the protests is exaggerated and that local law enforcement is capable of maintaining order. Despite these objections, the appeals court found that the administration's concerns about the protests were valid enough to warrant the deployment of National Guard troops. This ruling is part of a larger narrative surrounding President Trump's approach to law enforcement and civil unrest. In recent months, he has deployed National Guard troops from other states, including California and Texas, to Portland and other cities facing similar protests. The president's actions have drawn criticism from various quarters, including civil rights advocates who argue that the use of military personnel in domestic law enforcement could violate the Posse Comitatus Act, which restricts the military's ability to act in civil law enforcement roles. As the legal battles continue, President Trump has also sought intervention from the U.S. Supreme Court regarding troop deployments in other cities, including Chicago, where a lower court has blocked similar actions. The Supreme Court's response to this request remains pending, and it could have significant implications for the president's ability to deploy National Guard troops in response to civil unrest. The situation in Portland is evolving, and the implications of the Ninth Circuit's ruling will likely resonate across the nation as communities grapple with the balance between federal authority and local governance. As tensions remain high and protests continue, all eyes will be on how the Trump administration navigates this complex legal and political landscape. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.